How's it going, YouTube? Hi Drax, and in today's video we're going to be ranking the Legends Unlimited characters on this tier list. As you can see, all the characters are here except for Super Saiyan 3 Dragon Fist Goku, and then we do have both summonable Ultra characters here as well, because these characters in itself are very meta-defining characters and they should be included in this list, as it is going to be Legends Limited and Ultras only. Unfortunately, Super Saiyan 3 is omitted from here, but I will just talk about him at the end when I do add him to whatever column I choose. But we are going to be going in order, starting with Vegito Blue. Vegito Blue got his Zenkai this anniversary, and he is extremely good, but not to the point where he's too broken and actually handling the meta himself. They handled his Zenkai very tastefully, bringing him back into rotation on many teams, but not making him so good that he's actually running things down again. Same can be said for the Super Saiyan 2 Gohan here, who's still very good, but he does lack a lot of the, damage buffs and utility that he used to have as a last man standing unit, because a lot of these characters these days do remove buffs, either on main ability, green card, all that stuff, so he does lose a lot of his passives once he is the final member left to a lot of these other characters such as Gogeta. Obviously Ultra Blue Gogeta here as well is going to be one of those characters that absolutely run him into the ground. But let's look at Gogeta. Gogeta is still a very fantastic unit here, very strong, still holds his own very well. His platinum equipment keeps him in the game up until this day, and it's one of the only ways to make anti-revival units shake in their boots because of what his third unique slot does on his platinum, being he gains up to 4 Dragon Balls at maximum, 2 through his passive and then 2 through the equipment here. So you basically can farm 2 Rising Rushes if you play your cards very well. I still think he is a Z tier unit in terms of utility, but he is aging in the defense department, being not able to tank as well as he used to. But on the damage side of things, he does hold up pretty well. You know what, I think I'm going to readjust this tier list. I am going to add another column up here, make it broken, purely because we know why, we actually know why this tier list is up here, for which characters, and we'll speak about them a little bit later when we get to them. Future Gohan, definitely still very, very decent. I'd actually put him up in Z tier. He's probably the most useful cover change unit, purely because in this meta right now where combos run infinitely, him destroying 2 cards when he cover changes holds his own very well. And the fact that you basically stun locks you if you are, or if he cover changes you against the blast card and you have no vanish, you're instantly getting comboed and you're probably going to lose the match given what teams this guy is on, because he does fit on one of the best teams in the game by far, and we all know what that team is, and that is going to be the future team. Next up we have the transforming Majin Vegeta. Majin Vegeta is still a solid character. He's still really, really good. Honestly, I feel people really underrate this guy. Obviously he's in the territory now where he needs to get a Zenkai, but these characters are so good now that these Zenkais are going to feel very lackluster for people, because they don't really need that much to bring them back into the meta. I mean, look at Vegito Blue. He barely got anything in his kit other than a stat upgrade, and he is already back and pretty much a main character, running the blue slot on God Key and on the future team if you do not have Sword of Hope Trunks at a very high star level. So yeah, Vegeta, very, very good. He's not too bad, not yet, but he's still very decent. Piccolo's very good, but his team is lacking quite a bit of variety these days. He hasn't gotten a buff, or his team hasn't gotten a buff for a very, very long time. Hopefully we see something happen soon with Regen, because it's been a very long time. But they need to handle it very tastefully, because Regen is that kind of team that can get out of control very, very quickly, especially with how tanky they can be. And I'm hoping that they don't make it so that it becomes an issue like it was in the past. Speaking of Regen, I still believe Kid Buu is an absolute monster. He's deserving to be in Z. People may sleep on him, but he is extremely, extremely, extremely good. It just comes down to the fact that this guy's teams are not very good right now, and if you have him at a high star level, 9 star plus, he can still run an entire team into the ground by himself. The fact that he's one of the first characters to have the instant restore vanish or the restore vanish on green cards means that he's going to be comboing for a very long time because he does pick up card draw speed, and the fact that he inflicts enemies with no switching for 3 timer counts every time the opponent switches means this guy can really lock an entire team down if you are controlling the game with him. His only flaw would be his tanking ability. Now looking at the next character, Gogeta Blue. Gogeta Blue needs a Zenkai. He's obviously going to be in one of the 2 tiers here at the bottom, but he definitely needs a Zenkai right now. Not much to say. He has a lot in his kit that makes him very good. Anti-cover change, he has a counter on the green card, which although is not very good, if you do land it, you are most certainly killing a lot of the characters in the game by landing that green card. Obviously omitting a lot of the red characters because of type disadvantage, but if you land it in type neutral, there's a good possibility you can very much easily kill with the extra damage from that move. Unfortunately, he needs a platinum, a unique platinum similar to Gogeta if he wants to return, if they don't plan on Zenkaiing him. But if they do decide to do it, it's going to be one of those Zenkais where they barely add anything, and he's probably just going to get a stat increase. Okay, next character. This Goku, I rated him very poorly in the past, purely because he didn't really have much going for him. He doesn't have card draw speed, he only has the cover change when he swaps out the first time. But since getting his unique platinum equipment similar to this, maybe a toned down version of the Gogeta Platinum, he has come back to relevance somewhat for GT users since he is Zenkai buffed by the Vegeta. I have been using this guy a little bit since he dropped, since I pulled him recently, and he is holding his own pretty well. Very strong melee based unit, but he's not up on the tier where he's completely broken. So that's a good thing, and he can be a very devastating last man standing unit if he gets the chance to get to that point. Okay, let's go with Goten. Goten, can't really complain about him. He works really well alongside the other 2 counterparts that released alongside him, being the Blue Zenkai Super Saiyan Gohan and the Super Saiyan Death buff Goku from the movie sagas. Next character is Blue Vegeta. He's definitely a Z plus character for me, very strong. He actually tanks extremely well considering that he goes type neutral, and if you build him correctly, having a lot of HP, a lot of defense, he doesn't really need much else other than having his own unique platinum equipment, because he does get pure damage on that equipment, so he is going to be doing a lot of damage. He's going to be tanking very well. His only unfortunate aspect is him not getting a heal in a decent sense on his main ability. But the fact that you can lock in with his green card means you do end up sniping a lot of the blue characters these days, and maybe even MUI Goku if you do manage to get him in a combo. So he is very good. UI Goku, I'm actually going to put him in B tier. He's not that great anymore. I've seen a lot of people trying to run him on a purple red team or red purple, purely because they want to run the double MUI Goku setup with the double unique gauge. Unfortunately, this guy does not have any defense in any respect, so if you actually get him in a combo, you're probably going to end up using maybe 2 or 3 cards and killing him if the enemy does not switch. So he is not very good. He does need a Zenkai. He is probably in that tier, but considering that the fact that this guy does not have any place in the meta right now means that they're probably going to save him for maybe end of the year or maybe even next year during the anniversary, because having a Zenkai unique gauge character could be very disastrous for the game, especially if they handle it poorly. So having him here at B tier is very good. He does have some utility if you do not have a purple, obviously such as Jiren here, but he does not have a good standing in terms of defense in the general game. Zamasu I want to put in A tier. He can be very good, but he is hard replaced actually by MUI Goku. Unfortunately, his mechanics right now don't work really well, purely because a lot of people these days are not even considering using him when they are running the teams, purely because he is getting absolutely destroyed by a lot of the blue characters in the game, which is unfortunate given the fact that he has a lot in his kit that makes him very good. His green card being an AoE lock-in means you can probably snipe rush somebody. His ultimate killing and reducing your ki to 0, I believe, and destroying all your cards does have a lot of utility to it. So unfortunately for him, he is only going to be an A. Goku, Goku is gonna be a probably an A tier as well. It's hard to say, being a Zenkai 7 character. He is getting absolutely destroyed right now. A lot of people don't even use him as a unit on the team, but rather as a bench character in the party to buff up other strong green characters such as Super Saiyan 3 Dragon Fist, and then we have Gogeta here. So he is going to be good, but not in the greatest sense, so he is going to be A tier for me. Beerus is absolutely trash. I don't even want to see this unit outside being a Zenkai buff. He doesn't have anything that makes him good anymore, and honestly, even if they Zenkai the Whis, it's very debatable whether he'd be useful or not. Obviously, if they do decide to release a Platinum equipment or a new version of it, where they re-upgrade it to maybe a new version of itself, where they make him actually useful, that'll be a very good thing for him. Frieza is good, very good support unit, the best support unit on his team, and a very, very good character that you can just have around to maybe do some blue card damage, because he does have that extra blue. So he's going to be S tier for me. Definitely not in the Z tier because he does not tank as well as he used to. But yeah, Broly still, well, Broly would have been at B tier right now, or maybe even C tier. But since he got his Platinum equipment unique to himself, he does have a lot more damage output. And once he kills an enemy, he does get extra 50% increase in damage. So he can get out of control quickly, but it's not to the point where he can absolutely destroy enemy teams, like incinerate them immediately. He has to have that increased 50% damage by killing an enemy. Otherwise, he's just going to be very, very lackluster in a lot of situations. So he does have that going for him at least. Vegito Blue, oh not Vegito Blue, Super Vegito is going to be Z tier as well. He's very, very good. I don't understand the slander against Vegito, but he is going to be Z plus tier. Very, very strong unit. Obviously, keeping with the trend of removing buffs on main ability, he's really, really strong. Rose is definitely A tier. He has a lot in his kit that can work well, but he just needs a little bit of a increase in damage and defenses. So hopefully, Platinum equipment coming soon for him. It would really benefit him well because he does have that unique ability to remove Dragon Balls every time he uses a strike card, which is good for him. Namegoku is definitely worse than a lot of these characters right here. He doesn't have any defense, and the only reason you'd actually use him is if you're trying to run a meme team where you're trying to spam blue cards and counters, because his blue card is the best thing about him. Other than that, he doesn't really provide anything else. And the fact that he's a blue Super Saiyan means he's getting destroyed quite easily by a lot of the other characters in the game. So yeah, he's definitely B tier, unfortunately. Cell is definitely Z tier. Obviously, he's really, really strong. One of the best characters on one of the best teams in the game. His Platinum equipment actually brought him very, very, very high up. If he did not have his Platinum, I would say he's definitely S tier. But being a Platinum equipment holder, and the fact that he is an anti-Saiyan character, means he's going to be working well against a lot of the meta, right? With how high Saiyans, the volume of Saiyans are in the game right now. So he's going to be very, very good. Cover change, reduce Dragon Balls, card draw speed, all that good stuff. Frieza's definitely going to be Z tier for me, purely because his typing being yellow, means he's at a disadvantage to a lot of the red characters in the game. His kit still works really, really well, but I have noticed his damage output falling a little bit. It's dependent on whether or not you're running a support unit, but in the general sense, his damage is falling a little bit, which is unfortunate. Okay, next up is Ape Vegeta. Ape Vegeta is actually, well, he actually just got a Platinum equipment, not unique to him, but unique to his saga. So he is going to be looking a little bit better right now. I wouldn't say he is actually any better than all these other guys above him, but he does have endurance going for him. He does have the AoE green card. But that is also a problem, because when he does do that, he does have, well, he does not have the ability to nullify cover changes, so he's going to get cover changed very easily against. So he's good, but not that great. Unfortunately for a lot of the people who actually like this character, he's not the best. Maybe we'll see a Platinum equipment for him eventually, but right now he's too new of a character to even receive one. And then we have this guy here. Evolution Blue Vegeta is also a very solid option, but he is hard counted on a very large majority of teams actually. God Ki has Ultra Kaioken, and then Saiyans has Bardock, and then they have a lot of the other characters right now. But Universe Survival Saga doesn't need him, and his ability to combo can be good, but the fact that he doesn't have card draw speed means you can only combo for so long at a low amount of key before you actually just run out, and then you're in a very big predicament because this guy cannot tank whatsoever. And unfortunately, if we do go ahead and use him as a tank, he can only cover change easily against blast cards because that's where his strength lies. So he is going to be only A tier for me right now. Revival Gohan definitely still holding his own, very good support unit. The fact that he is a revival also means he's going to be very, very strong against a lot of the teams right now that can combo infinitely. So yeah, he's going to be good for that disruption, and the fact that he has a team heal and a team buff means he's going to be very, very strong, and he is extremely potent once he transforms. Maybe not so much now as he was before, but give him an opportunity to get the combo rolling on you and he can very easily take you down. And the fact that he also has an AoE green card means he's very, very successful in doing that. Goku and Vegeta, I don't want to hear the slander They're extremely good. They're still very, very good. They can still hold the meta down very, very nicely, especially since that the fact is they restore 70% of Vanish on their blue cards. You can say whatever you want, that is still a broken mechanic and ability, and the fact that they heal means that you can combo them. As long as they live, they're gonna get back all that HP very, very easily. I don't want to hear the slander, I don't care, they are extremely good and they can still whitewash you, and a 3v1 you don't have the options that you would normally have in that situation. Trunks is definitely Z tier for me personally because he fits on the better teams in the game. He has endurance, he has a unique gauge, he has the ability to go type neutral. Unfortunately, he is restricted to 2 teams where his endurance is useful, but those 2 teams are actually pretty good, so it doesn't really matter. He's definitely Z tier. Okay, Gogeta is definitely the better of the Z plus units right now. Honestly, the second best character in the game. There's no debating that. You are a fool if you don't believe it, and you are a fool if you underestimate this Gogeta. We all know what he does. He's extremely annoying, he's extremely powerful, and if you don't have him, you are in a bit of a bind because it's unfortunate if you don't. Okay, Bardock. Bardock is definitely going to be S tier for me. I like him a lot. He does have some mechanics that make him useful, but he's too restricted in what he needs to do. Having his endurance locked behind having a teammate die means it's pretty much pointless having him on the team. You don't really need to run Bardock. You probably just run Angel Vegeta as a support unit and you'll probably end up with a similar outcome. Unfortunately, they dropped the ball with him. They just made him too restrictive with the fear that they were going to take advantage of the situation with the yellow and blue Saiyans. So definitely a decent character. Jiren definitely a Z tier unit. He is, well, okay, I won't say Z tier. He's definitely not as good as these guys. I would say he's S tier, but on the higher end side. He's probably like here or something. But yeah, Jiren's pretty good. His ability to actually gain endurance 1 to activate a Rising Rush is crazy. So he does have that. So if you do use a Rising Rush and you do end up landing it, chances are he is going to survive and come back with the vengeance because he does get a huge buff for that. But there's easy ways to play around it, such as just killing him normally or with an ult that just nullifies endurance. So he's good, but not that good, unfortunately. Ultra Kaioken, I would say, is Z tier on teams that don't have a very strong red unit. If you run into a team that does not have a very meta-defining red unit right now, such as MUI Goku or the androids, he can be a very solid option. He can still put out the damage. He can't tank as well, unfortunately. But the fact that he can combo for a very, very long time still remains there. And he seals strike cards every time you switch. So he's going to be very, very good in that situation. Androids, obviously 17 is not tier, but the androids are going to be number 1. They are broken. They do not need to be this good. I don't understand what they were thinking when they made this character, and it's a very obnoxious character. This character at 3 stars can absolutely destroy any character on this list with almost no effort whatsoever. The fact is, they combo for way too long. They have too many things in their kit that makes them very, very good, such as having the ability to overlook cover changes. So nullifying cover changes is going to be very, very annoying on their part because you can't successfully switch out and save yourself. The fact is, you're probably going to get either 1, killed by this character, or 2, get hit with a Rising Rush and you die anyways. So yeah, this character is extremely good, and the fact is they counter Super Saiyans, which is a very big portion of this game. A lot of the good characters here are a version of Super Saiyan, such as Ultra Gogeta, you have Goten here, you have Gohan, this Trunks here is only Super Saiyan. So he is going to be, or she is going to be destroying a lot of these characters here. MUI Goku, definitely a Z+ unit, but in the bad way. He can do a lot of things, but unfortunately, his main gimmick is that he is able to counter attacks such as Strike and Blast and do damage to you. So he promotes a passive playstyle that works well with a lot of people these days. But it also comes down to the fact that he's type of character that you want to perfect vanish with, because he does get extra damage once he evades you, which is unfortunate. Very, very strong character. I don't want to oversell this guy because he's good, but there are ways to deal with him. A lot of characters here have AoE attacks, which people do not expect. They normally just sit with the MUI Goku and think that they're fine. So that's one way to deal with him, but other than that, he does have a lot going for him. And then the final character who's not technically on this list is going to be Super Saiyan 3 Dragon Fist Goku. I would actually put him in Z tier right now. He is good, but he's not on the level of these guys right here, because in my opinion it takes too long to fill up his unique gauge. It takes roughly 10 cards to do, which is practically 3 combos if you're not very careful, or if you have people cover changing against you and you have to struggle to get a combo. But he does have a good thing, which is nullify cover changes twice for 10 time accounts, which is really what keeps him in the game right now. And his ultimate's one of the best ultimates in the game, a guaranteed legendary finish if your opponent does not have anything to counter it with, such as a Rising Rush or a ranged blue card or an ultimate of their own, or Vanish. I mean, no, even with Vanish, if his unique gauge is filled and you pop that main, you lose your Vanish, you'd practically just lose, because it hits like a truck. It is a nuke, similar to how this Goku used to nuke people. It's the same thing, and he's a very, very strong character. But anyways guys, hope you enjoyed today's video. I know it's a bit of a long video, so I hope you stayed to the end. But this is my tier list. Let me know what you think. I think I've been pretty fair with my analysis of a lot of these characters, and I think it's pretty fair to put a lot of these characters here. A lot of people may be angry with the fact that I put a lot of these characters higher or lower than where they should be, but like I said, this is going to be a personal opinion in previous videos, and it's a personal opinion now. You're free to disagree, and you're free to give me your opinions down below in the comment section down below. So let me know what you guys think. I hope you enjoyed today's video. My name is Hydrax, and I'll catch you in the next one.